Welcome back. This is Super Bowl weekend. We're gonna give
Super
you.
Bowl.
We finally made it. It's been a long year, but it's also seemed like it's just been over in a flash. We're gonna go through. This is gonna be our prop bet show. We're gonna give you our three favorite props each, and then we'll any random ones at the end that we want to shout out. But we're gonna give you our three favorite ones primarily. So we'll get right into it. Who wants to start with their first Super Bowl prop bet?
I think I'll start us off just because I think my first is probably one of the most popular prop bets that there's out there. We're going to be calling heads on the coin toss. Heads is due. Heads is due. Seven of the last 10 Super Bowls, tails has come up. If you're telling me that it's a 50-50 shot at getting the coin toss right, what better way to get back to 50-50 than for heads to sneak its way back into that 7 out of 10, make it 7 out of 11 of the last? Heads it is, plus 100.
I mean, if you're trying to win
Working on it.
early and often, that's what you got to
On
do
off right.
pre-game.
Yeah,
Like, not
just
even a
trying to get
snap in and you're already up money. Like,
Yeah.
that's what you need to have a good Super Bowl. So,
Well,
I
yeah.
like,
It's like walking
not,
into the casino and putting it on black. Same
yeah,
same concept.
nothing like getting our prop bet start off with the old gambler's fallacy of it's due. It's
Do.
gotta hit.
Do.
Do.
All
All
right.
right.
Who's
Well,
next?
I'll jump in here with mine. I'm going a different direction here. I'm more about looking for, really high end odds to try to attack that seem like have a pretty good shot. And so I'm going to tackling the player octopus on the same drive. For those who don't know, that is a player to score a touchdown and then also a 2-point conversion right afterwards. So that is at plus 950. Yes, that's extremely high, but I think there's a lot of good players on each teams to be able to do this. Travis Kelce obviously is a huge example. I will say Chiefs get a little wonky with their play calls down in the red zone, especially in the goal line where they're doing like tight end sweeps to Noah Gray or having some obscure guy you never even heard of come off the practice field to run a double post to curl into a slant, something like that. I don't know.
Crazy pre-snap motion.
Yeah, but and then on the other side, I like Chris McCaffrey. I think at that, I know PB mentioned at the beginning of the show before we started recording that the 49ers have only gone for 2 points, 2 point conversion like two times in the last like odd in years. But it's the Super Bowl. You got to score points when you're down there. If you're playing Patrick Mahomes, you're going to try to make them score. So I like that one at plus 950.
I feel
yeah,
like I feel like the Chiefs go for two pretty
Yeah,
often
I
as
think
well.
you're really hoping the Chiefs hit that for you. I mean, yes, the 49ers rarely play from behind, so it's like why would they go for two in the last 2 years? But if they were, I guess if the Chiefs get a lead, it's obviously way more likely that they could go for it. But yeah,
yeah. I mean, that's a good bet. You kind of need two things to happen, but I have a bet for you here. If you just want one thing to happen, and it's the color of Gatorade here. I'm going with clear and water plus 1100. The one thing we know for sure is the color of Gatorade containers are probably sitting right next to each other. They look the exact same. Your team just wins the Super Bowl. You don't know what you're grabbing. So the water, the Gatorade might be sitting right next to each other. I'm thinking they grabbed the water on accident. And, let's look at the Gatorade product line for a minute. They have a new Gatorade Fit, which has no added colors. That's clear. And then there's a new mystery flavor that's also clear. So the value here for the Gatorade selection is in the clear/water category, and you also get the best odds on it. So, you know, if you just want the little nightcap victory after the game, this is the clear cut.
Nick, where on earth did you get all that logic?
Yeah,
That was
yeah, that's a
really
great
loaded up.
question, PB. I've been in the lab researching the
Okay.
product lines from Gatorade. Uh, you know, So simple as that. You just got to look at the roadmaps.
Gotcha. Well, it was a genius, whoever, you read that from, for sure.
Yeah, I watched 47 different Gatorade commercials that have been released in the past 2 years just to analyze what colors were represented in those, and I'm still feeling confident in the clear bet. So,
But he's been in the lab.
In the lab. All right. My first prop bet is going to be total players to record a reception under 13.5, and you get plus odds on that. Hold on one second.
Seems like a lot of players.
Yeah, so it's plus 114. Now, the ones that you can be sure of, you can count them. You got McCaffrey, Kelsey, Debo, Brandon Ayuk, Pacheco, Rashee Rice, Kittle, Juwan Jennings, MVS,
Debo,
Justin Watson, Noah Gray would be 11.
Debo.
I already said Debo.
I don't think you did.
Oh.
I think you got to restart.
What it comes down to basically is if
Tony.
you think, well, Tony might not even play. We know Sky Moore just got activated. What it comes down to is, do you think two of Blake, or I think it's 2 to 3 of Blake Bell, Chris Conley, Ray McLeod, Richie James, Kyle Juszczyk, CEH, Hardman. If you think, and Sky Moore, if you think like 3 of them can catch a pass, then it's going to go over. But I think the Chiefs are going to play a little bit more condensed. Now that MVS has shown a little bit more reliability, I think kind of those extra targets that you might see one game where before, Hardman got that extra target, or Tony Sky Moore, whoever it is, I think it's going to condense a bit more. And same with the 49ers, like Chris Conley and Ray. Maybe one of them, but I don't know. I just can't see 3 of this like entire grouping getting a reception each. So and it's plus money. So I'm going to go ahead and take the under on the 13.5 there.
I thought you were going to say the over, and I was going to panic for a minute. If you've been paying attention at all, there's been all sorts of videos and analysis of the number 13 with the witchcraft Taylor Swift herself.
It's probably going to hit right at 13 is the thing. I think it'll probably.
There's no way it doesn't hit. Like, there's way too many coincidences for the number 13 just lining up to this spot for it not to hit. I mean,
yeah, so we're going
put it right there for a reason. So
under 13.5, and it'll probably hit right at 13.
So if you take conference championships from Chiefs, 49ers, 14 players caught passes from those two teams in the conference championships. So it's going to be right there. That's the right line.
No, it's the correct line. My logic, though, is it's the Super Bowl, and they're going to condense it even more because guys have just they found they're just going to go off of their most reliable guys in the Super Bowl. And yes, there might be 2, even if 2 of these guys, this grouping, catch one, it's just 3 of them, this grouping of like bottom tier guys, 3 of them have to for it to go over.
Yeah, it was Juice, CEH, and Richie James.
Right.
So, yeah, I like that one, especially plus money.
Yeah, if it was like even money, or there's no way, but getting plus money on it, I'm just gonna take that slight value there.
I like it. All right, going into my second one, I'm playing a little bit off of Corey's first bet here. I'm gonna go successful 2-point conversion, plus 270. So pretty simple logic here. Super Bowl, all of the stops get pulled out. You see the Chiefs pulling the ring around the Rosie in the goal line. Obviously, we talked about the 49ers not running it nearly as much as the Chiefs per se, but I do think the Chiefs could have a lead here with that defense, and you could see the 49ers kind of late having to come back and put up a 2-point instead of kicking an extra point. You also have Jake Moody on that side of the ball, who has been completely inconsistent for his entire career, especially this year. So I think that we definitely see at least one attempt at it, and I'm banking on one of these teams, one of these play callers two of the best to ever do it to draw something up that gets it done. I think plus 270 is just a great odds to have a chance at that.
Okay. Okay. Like it. I do like that for sure. What I'm gonna be going next is a defensive one, which I found on FanDuel. Bosa and Chris Jones both to record half a sack each is at plus 350. I think the right tackle for the Chiefs is their weakest part of that line. He will probably get called for multiple different holdings during the game. Probably a couple false starts because Nick Bosa's lined up on the other side. So I like that. And then obviously, Chris Jones is the game record for the Chiefs. I don't understand how this is so high. I understand you're combining two bets into one, kind of like that parlay, but at plus 350, I mean, I was expecting maybe plus 125, 150. I think both players obviously can get half a sack. I mean, it's not a full sack, it's a half a sack. So you can be the second man there, and then that's all you need. So give me that plus 350.
I like it.
Nick?
All right. I think this guy's going to be the Super Bowl MVP. It's very hard to bet against him. Patrick Mahomes going to take his yards, 260, and the over. I think they're going to limit Pacheco because the 49ers D-line is probably the best part of that defense. They have some really great linebackers. And why not lean on the best guy to do it, Patrick Mahomes? So I think he'll throw for 300. So the line at 260 seems pretty good to me. And for all my conspiracy theory fans, I hear you out there. Thanks for commenting on our past videos. If this game goes to double overtime, this is a complete lock. So let's ride that one. I mean, Adam Schefter tweeted it saying the NFL told CBS or Fox.
Yeah,
whatever.
but obviously there was some sarcasm there. If you couldn't get that, but
maybe it's some weird, Illuminati stuff. They got to tell you what they're doing before they do it.
Could be that. Could be that too.
I was at the Bulls game last night. Went to overtime, not double, but overtime. Could be a sign.
Good foreshadowing.
Signs.
Okay. My second one is it's a rivals type bet where it's Rice or Kelsey first reception, and I'm taking Rice plus 112. I just think there's a lot of value and the line is set this way because I went through all the games and I was like, okay, let's see how many times Kelsey caught the first ball and Rice. So it's 10 through it's 10 versus 8 or something, 11 versus 8 in favor of Kelsey. But a lot of those are early in the year when Mahomes just we knew Kelsey was always going to be his reliable option, but he didn't have that receiver that he really could rely on yet. And since Rice, week 10 after, and Rice was the solidified wide receiver 1, Rice has caught the first reception more often than Travis Kelsey. So this line, there's so many lines set for the Super Bowl, and these books kind of just look at this line makes perfect sense if you just take what happened throughout the course of the year, but they're not diving super deep into maybe why that's occurring. And so if from week 10 after, Rice is catching the first reception more often than Kelsey, I'm taking the value at you get plus 112 on Rice. So, and there's another one it's Rice versus Debo, and you can get Debo at plus 170, which I really like as well. But I'm taking the Rice versus Kelsey. I just think there's obvious value on this one.
Yeah,
I mean, you're going against the grain here with the whole Taylor Swift narrative of.
Yeah, but the other logic not only just has Rice caught the first reception more often than Kelsey since he's been in a more solidified role. I think the 49ers early in the game, especially, are going to sell out to stop Travis Kelce. So it's like both of those things fit this prop for me, which is that more targets could be funneled away from Kelce. So I love this one. It was borderline going to be my lock, but I like the next one better.
I think they opened up against the Bills first play with like a screen to Rice too. Like it.
So I think in the playoffs, I think Kelce might have more than Rice first receptions. But that's a smaller sample. And
Rice has
again,
3 games.
yeah, my theory for this game is that they're going to sell out a lot more to stop him, especially early in the game, at least.
All right. Very nice. Everyone, was that everyone's second one?
Yes.
All right. All right, Alex, bring us home. Third.
All right. My lock of the week is a matchup prop. So it's Mahomes versus Purdy passing TDs. And I'm going to be betting Mahomes -0.5. What are the odds on that one?
It's 145.
Plus 145. So Mahomes basically has to throw one more passing TD than Brock Purdy. I thoroughly think that Mahomes solidifies the win, the MVP in this game, and I think that just from purely a team makeup standpoint, can see if the 49ers get into the red zone, basically using CMC for 2 first and second down plays, versus the Chiefs, who like to get cheeky down there, like to run a lot of different trick plays. And I'm picking the extremely better quarterback here to throw one more passing touchdown. So getting plus money on that, I will take that any day of the week.
Alrighty. I think I don't know. I think I kind of like it. I just think that I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Purdy would just have to get bailed out by one of like Debo's like
True.
screen passes to the house or McCaffrey. Like that's how Purdy beats Holmes.
I don't see the Chiefs letting up these kind of crazy explosive, 60-yard screens. Yeah. I just think they're too shirred up tackling and gang defense for that type of thing to happen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for my lock of the week, this is a must. I just realized my record is 9-1. This is a must hit for me to finish the year over 500.
Yeah.
And I.
Oh, and your locks, you mean you're positive like overall?
Yeah,
right?
I'm positive overall. Overall, I'm 35-21-1. But my locks at the beginning of the year, I was doing really well. In the last couple of weeks, we've gotten. Last week McCaffrey. He had 4 receptions. Or 2 weeks ago, who would have thought Brock Purdy ran the ball 4 times for like 55 yards? So it kind of got screwed out of that one. But so for the end of the year here, I'm going to go back to the well. Someone who's won me a lot of money in DFS betting wise past couple of years. That's going to be George Kittle. I'm actually taking an alt line of over 60 or 60 plus, I should say, at plus 142. I think he's going to have to be utilized so much in this game for them to win. We already talked about last week, kind of in our preview show, about the corners for the Chiefs and how well they're playing. I think a soft spot for the Chiefs is going to be their linebacking core. I think Kittle is going to have to be able to make plays. He's going to have to score points. I don't see how he doesn't get involved. And we know with Kittle, he's the type of guy who can catch one, 20-yard pass and take it the extra 30 for a touchdown. He's not super explosive, but he's very good at breaking tackles. Give me Kittle at plus 142 for over 60. It's my lock of the week. Give that to me.
I don't know about that, Jim.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. I think, I'm going a similar direction as you, Corey. I'm taking my lock of the week on a 49ers wide receiver yards. But I'm going to Brandon Ayuk. The reason being, if we saw the Chiefs really sell out to stop the run last week, I think they do it again here against the best running back in the NFL. So what is that in turn going to cause? The Chiefs are going to have to do like the one high safety cover one type of defenses. And Brandon Ayuk has a 35% market share against those defenses all year. And, the Chiefs run that, season long, I think 20% of the time. And they were in cover one within that structure, I think like 40%. So I think those numbers are going to go up for the Super Bowl here. That's going to open up Ayuk. And Andy Reid knows if he's going to get beat, it's going to be through Brock Purdy and not Christian McCaffrey. So I think they sell out to stop the run again, which they did great last week. It's going to force Brock Purdy to pass a lot more. If you don't like that narrative, they're going to have to keep up with Patrick Mahomes, and they're going to be chucking it deep. So 60 yards, we can hit that in 2 to 3 catches with Ayuk. He's their best player to stretch the field. So I like that a lot.
All right. My lock of the week is a matchup, another matchup based one. It's Pacheco plus 23.5 yards versus Christian McCaffrey, minus 110. I believe that the Chiefs will be able to run all over the 49ers. I think the 49ers defense as a whole is just vastly overrated. They're very strong. They're like one of the strongest defenses in the middle of the field. Their linebackers and, just their ability to get like pressure on the quarterback. Like that's where the strength of their defense lies. Just like, yes, their D line is like their strength, but just because you have a good D line doesn't mean you're good at stopping the run. Like Hargrave, like they're not like these beast run stoppers. Like they can get after the passer well. But I think the Chiefs' game plan is actually going to be quite similar to what they did against the Ravens, and that is going to be milk clock with Pacheco and keep the 49ers off the field and force them to score on their limited possessions. I think that's like their game plan going in. We'll see if they can execute it. Worked against the Ravens, but it's just hard because Mahomes is a guy you have to account for. You can never like sell out to stop the run. It's just you cannot do that against Mahomes. And it just opens up so much for the run game. And I don't know. I think Pacheco plus, especially when I think the Chiefs, I've kind of gone back and forth on what I think if they're going to have CMC be the guy to beat them by himself, or they sell out to stop CMC and make Brock Purdy do it. I've gone back and forth because I can see both game plans working. But at the end of the day, I just think the Chiefs will successfully run the ball, and he's going to be able to stay within 23.5 yards of McCaffrey.
Yeah, I mean, the 49ers actually have gotten like eaten up these last 2 weeks in the run game.
And it's not just the last 2 weeks that when teams have run the ball in the regular season, it worked. The problem was teams are never playing with a lead. So it's like you're never running the ball against the 49ers when you're down 14, you're down 10. So they only allow this many rushing yards a game. Well, that's kind of like, it's just not a real stat because if teams did consistently run, they would be one of the worst run defenses, in my opinion. So, yeah. Love Pacheco in this game.
Couple shout outs.
Yeah, some shout outs, just smaller bets.
Some crazy ones, if you want, throw some pizza money on there, go ahead and do it. I'm gonna go with Nick's narrative of the 13 being a common number that we've been thrown in our face the last couple of days. First half correct score 13-13. That is plus 10,000. Just throwing it out there. If you want to get crazy, and I mean, the other way I was thinking about it, all these betting websites do like squares. So if you just want to be a little bit more, better odds, I guess you go Chiefs or 49ers, any quarter finish tied with a 3. So I think that's another good, place to get that at. I mean, 3 is a big number. It's very common, and that's at plus 750. So, I mean, it wasn't going to be in my betting sheet because that's crazy, but I you got to throw pizza money if you believe in the Illuminati on 13-13 at halftime.
Don't hate it.
I'll ride with you.
Yeah.
Or it could just be like something that adds up to 13. Could be like 10-3.
10-3. 10-3 gets you. Let's see, Chiefs 10. Let's see, Chiefs 10.
Yeah, I do think it'll be a lower scoring game.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's just my guess.
Chiefs 10, 49ers 3 is plus 5,500.
Before we go, we should at least, I know we did our prop bets and we don't have to like say these and put them in our cards for social media, but if you had to pick a side and you had to pick a total, just quickly say like what it is and brief reason why. Starting with Nick.
I like the Chiefs and the over.
And quick reason why.
I think it's going to be a really good game. It'll be a shootout. I mean, I know the Chiefs defense has been elite, but I just think Shanahan's a really great coach too. And I think both these teams just come out guns blazing. There's been some really explosive playoff games overall, and it's been fun to watch. So that's what I want to cheer for points. So
Okay, so it's just more
Yeah.
emotion there.
all emotion, but I do think the Chiefs win. I think defense wins championships. 49ers keep getting really close, but yeah.
I'll go Chiefs in the under. I agree with you, PB. I think the game plan is going to be to slow it down and to make Purdy and CMC in that offense score pretty much every drive like they did against the Ravens. I think the true matchup in the Super Bowl and what's going to determine who wins it is Shanahan versus Spags and the play calling from the 49ers offense and the Chiefs defense. And just did a little research on the Chiefs defense versus positional groups today, and it really just speaks volumes to how elite they are from top to bottom. They don't get gashed up in any phase of the game, and I think this is going to be a really fun chess match between two of the best teams I think that we've seen in a long time, actually. I don't think this is the best Chiefs team that they've had, but, Mahomes paired with that defense definitely keeps them in the conversation. And the 49ers have just been amazing all year, honestly. So I think we're in for kind of like a grinded out type of game. I think it's going to be a really close one, and I think the Chiefs come out on top.
Yeah, I'm on the exact same side. I'm on the under and I'm on the Chiefs. Almost every reasoning point that you gave is exactly why. Like as much of a Mahomes versus Purdy, like those are like the faces you see on all, but it is such a Shanahan versus Spags game at the same time. Like it's not like the 49ers defense is overrated. Like that defensive coordinator is just, I don't think he's any good. I don't think he's good at like adapting his game plan for what the opposing teams do. They kind of just play the same.
He's not D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah, he's not D'Amico Ryans and he's not Spags. Like he keeps his same thing. And, it works throughout the year. Obviously, like they play, but their defense just hasn't been like tested in the way that the Chiefs can test you. So, but again, like part of why I think Pacheco is relied on a lot. You could see CMC, like I said, I'm really torn on how I think the Chiefs, like what Spags is thinking. Is it sell out to stop CMC and make Purdy beat you like they did against the Ravens? Or they were putting 5 defensive linemen in like that is tough to beat. Like even if you're a bad run defense, which the Chiefs, that's been their weakness all year. But when you put 5 defensive linemen, it doesn't matter how bad your run defense is. That's tough to beat no matter what. But more that I think about it, it's like it's hard to do that against the 49ers. You have so many elite pass catchers. If you put 5 defensive linemen in there, you could just get wrecked by someone else. So it's like, could their game plan be let CMC be the only guy that can beat us? Like let him do his thing. They're going to have to run, while we chew clock and we have a lead. Well, they can keep trying to use CMC. but they're gonna have to pass the ball eventually, and they really just rely on their secondary and I'm really torn on and it'll be you'll probably find out kind of early what it is, but it'll be interesting to see. This is gonna be a game where I really look to live bet based off of what I think they're trying to do. If I see like 5 defensive linemen in there, I'm gonna start slamming CMC unders. If I see CMC running early, I'm gonna start taking unders on a lot of the pass catchers. So that's just some tidbits for live betting this game because I think the Spags game plan is like super dependent on, it's what he wants to do in this game. I think it's gonna be one of those two things. Sell out to stop CMC, let CMC run wild.
All right, Corey, play devil's advocate over here. I know where you're going with at least one of these.
I'm going to take the 49ers. I've been a component or a cheerleader for Brock Purdy his entire year. Like I mentioned, I think he gets a lot of unwarranted hate. He's led the NFL in almost all statistical categories this entire year. Last week was a real, I think, kind of like, hey, welcome to NFL moment for him. Like, played so poorly in the first half, and in the second half, he turned it around and looked like a really good quarterback. Yes, you can say there was one catch that changed the game with Ayuk, and the Angels in the outfield came down and blessed that ball for Ayuk to catch off whoever's head that was. But in all reality, I really do think that Shanahan can scheme up against this defense. I think they have a lot of weapons. Like PB was just laying out, like you have to. They're just not one dimensional. The Ravens are one dimensional. It's not let Lamar Jackson beat you. They have no other pass catchers. I guess the other one would be the Bills would be more comparable to the 49ers in terms of like they have Josh Allen who can run the ball. They have Diggs. They have Kincaid. They have James Cook, and like they made the Bills look not great again. And obviously I don't think they didn't make them not look great. Like that game came down to a field goal, but like they were able to limit. I just think there's so many possible ways for the 49ers to find success against a very tough defense. Is Brock Purdy going to be like, throwing for 500 yards? Probably not. But again, what he's done great his entire career, which he gets diminished for, is game managing. He throws the screens. I mean, who said best? I think it was Dan Marino the other day. I was listening to him. He's like, no, it was Joe Montana. He's like, I'm just the facilitator on that team that I was quarterbacking for. I mean, his weapons were insane. And we look at Joe Montana as one of the best quarterbacks to ever play. And his weapons that he had, I understand it's a different time, different team, but he said it perfectly. It's like, I'm not trying to score the touchdowns. I want my guys to score the touchdowns. And he has the guys to do that on this team. So I'm going to take the 49ers in the over here. I like the Chiefs. I really do. I have nothing against the Chiefs. But I really want to see Brock Purdy win. So that is the route I will be going. That's the route I will be betting. Yeah, I'm probably going to be one in a few. Everyone and their mother is betting the Chiefs. I saw stat come in, or not stat, a spokesman for a sportsbook saying that if they keep taking on more money right now, it's going to outweigh the preseason bets or the future bets for the 49ers, which is absolutely insane to think about. So if you're in the conspiracy theory is like, hey, Vegas has ties in the NFL.
No matter what the conspiracy theorists win, the Chiefs win, it's Taylor Swift, 49ers win, it's because Vegas is stealing all your money. It's like no matter what the conspiracy theorists
I was playing devil's advocate there. But yeah, that's the way that I think.
I'll admit the 49ers are the sharp side. Like all of the money right now is pouring in on the Chiefs. The Chiefs is I don't know if like the Chiefs are like this fake public where like everyone's like, oh, you can't bet against Mahomes, but then like secretly deep down they're like 49ers are so good. Like I don't see how they lose. Like I really don't know what people are thinking, but the money shows right now the Chiefs are getting more bets than the 49ers, and the line is like really not moving.
moved in the opposite direction.
Yeah, it moved in the opposite
For a
direction for a
good
little
side.
bit. It's like the sharp side, I would say, is probably the 49ers.
So,
But, the sharp side doesn't always win. And in this case, I'm going to be on the more public side with the Chiefs.
yeah, whenever the money's on one side and the numbers moving against that side, it is
Not good.
bad news normally. So, yeah, you're definitely right. The 49ers are the sharp side here.
Also, PB, I want you to buy a Brock Purdy and Stafford jersey and combine them into one if the 49ers
Yeah,
win.
that's not the Stafford. When I watched him, like he was not a guy where I was like still stubborn and I was like, no, I watched the guy play and he looked good. Like the throws he was making, I was impressed. So like I stopped my anti-Stafford take. Brock Purdy has not shown that to me. And through the playoffs, it's only further like bake that take into what I already thought about him. If there's a reason why Brock Purdy is one of the only quarterbacks ever to be a favorite in the Super Bowl and to have less odds than the dog quarterback, like Brock Purdy, like if they win, I would rather take a Debo MVP bet, which is like plus 3,000 or CMC at like plus 450. I think if you're betting the 49ers, you should do one of those. And if you bet the Chiefs, instead of betting the money line, just take Mahomes MVP.
I would actually want to take I think before we can move on from this, but my MVP would be to go along with that.
I would pick Debo
actually-
at plus 3,000 or
I would do
CMC.
Nick Bosa at plus 8,000.
I mean, that's pretty. I would if I were to pick one defensive guy, I could see that because it would just be his matchup. If he gets like some strip sacks, like that's
Yeah.
could be massive. So especially in a low scoring game where it could be like one or two pivotal plays that determine the outcome.
I'm actually
So,
gonna
yeah.
do that.
It's a little sprinky.
It's a little piece of money.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean Brock Purdy. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything he can do in this game that would make me think he's a good quarterback.
Okay, well, let's
We'll end it there.
we could take it for we talk for hours.
All right, we have one more show for this 2023-2024 season. That's our Super Bowl DFS breakdown, $1 million up top. We'll be getting into that with our next video. Please leave a like, subscribe, and we will see you next time.